Sure, beans, man. Why not?
Hey guys, welcome to my video about the top 7 scout weaponry skins. Drop a like and some hype points so this video doesn't die in a ditch with its kidneys removed, and let's go!
First up, we have the Unarmed Combat, which is a reskin of the stock bat held by Exposed Bone. Kinda gross, but whatever. I rarely ever equip this thing just because the jiggle bones it has make it a bit too jiggly, and it feels like a very ineffective weapon. This does not feel like something that would be actually good for hitting someone with in real life, at all. The most you probably would be able to do is hit him with the elbow, I guess, because that hand just flops around way too much. There's no way you'd ever be able to get a good hit on someone. Not to mention, every time you land a hit, instead of getting a satisfying ping noise, you get a wet slap sound, and I much prefer the satisfying ping noises of the other bats. But other than the jiggle bones, the only other thing that differentiates this thing is its unique ability to count the amount of times you've hit someone in the kill feed, and when you get a kill with it, it says arm kill. I'm not entirely sure how that's supposed to be useful, but, you know, it's different. Don't know why you'd want to count how many times you hit someone with your dad's hand, but, you know, whatever.
Holy, holy mackerel, holy, holy mackerel, holy, holy mackerel, holy, holy mackerel.
As a scout main, I was always perplexed by people who loved the holy mackerel. This is literally a fish wrapped in newspaper. There is nothing special about it, except for the same thing, that it's and it counts the amount of hits that you deal to enemies, as well as saying fish kill when you get a kill with it. I have no idea why you would prefer to slap an enemy with a fish rather than a bat, because the bat would do way more damage and be a lot more satisfying because this thing has the exact same slap sound effect as the Unarmed Combat. It's a fish. I don't know why I want to hit someone with a fish. Case closed. And unless I'm missing something, why is this part of the Milkman set? Did Milkman used to deliver fish too? I don't get that.
What are you doing? Get your sword!
So I've always had some love for the 3 rune blade, because on the surface, it is one of the coolest looking weapons in the game. I mean, it's got a sick, badass wolf's head pommel, you know, just like The Witcher, which is the game that comes from, as it was a promotional item, and I really like the way the blade is shaped, but it completely lacks a point. Like, literally, there's no point. It's completely rounded off for some reason, just like the Eyelander, which makes it feel more like a toy than an actual weapon. And is it just me, or is the guard way too wide in comparison to the far too slim blade? Like, that blade feels really thin. It's like paper thin. Pretty sure it's supposed to be a lot thicker than that. But other than the design, which is so cool that I would probably choose this over other melees, it suffers from one huge issue. It is a reskin of the Boston Basher, and suffers all the same problems that the Boston Basher does. Unless you're really into Basher jumps, I would probably avoid this one just as much as you do with the Basher. Considering you're putting yourself at the mercy of TF2's hit registration every single time you swing it, makes it one of the least reliable weapons in the game. You can safely assume that every single time you hit yourself with this thing, you will need to run for a med pack. And I don't think I need to say just how bad that is. As for Basher jumps, they are very useful in that you gain a lot of height when using them, but I just stick with the atomizer. I very rarely find myself wishing I could go that high anyway, and it's just really risky because if there is not a med kit where you want to jump to, then you're just gonna die. There's nothing else you can do about it, so yeah, looks cool, doesn't play good.
I have the high ground.
Let's see here. How much for a Batsaber? No. So now I know that this is technically the Scout reskin Holy Grail simply due to its value. And you know, it's a Star Wars reference, and who doesn't love Star Wars, right? But I gotta be honest, this is one of the worst transfers I have ever seen in the entire game. I mean, just look at it. They couldn't make it look a little better? It looks like a freaking plastic baseball bat. The kind that your parents would give you when they were afraid you'd break something. At least it's a reskin of stock and not something else, because then it's, you know, actually usable as a normal melee weapon. And its disintegration effect is kind of cool, I suppose, but I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. They should be getting, like, fried or cut up, not disintegrating. That's not how a lightsaber works. And not to mention, the sound effect is not satisfying. I don't own this thing, so I can't really get a hang on how it feels, but just from what I can tell, I'm not big on the sound. I think the thing I'm upset about the most is that they didn't make an actually good representation of a lightsaber in TF2, because then I could make badass source filmmaker animations with it. You know, straight up Star Wars references up the wazoo. Now I don't even know what a wazoo is. No way in heck I'm ever gonna use this thing in an animation, unless I literally want to make a character hit a wiffle ball.
I seem to be completely naked.
Oh dear.
Hope I don't have to bend over provocatively to...
That's enough, Max.
Hey, alright, now we're getting on to the really good skins. This one's the Luger morph, based off of the pistol wielded by Max in the Sam & Max series, modeled after a World War II classic, the Luger. I'd say it's likely the best looking pistol in Scout's arsenal, in that it just has a lot of style to it, and you know, it's got that very cool toggle mechanism rather than slide. The unfortunate downfall of this weapon is Valve's laziness when making it, sadly, because I love the way it looks, and I think it's really satisfying to use, especially with that nice long barrel and the robust receiver, but it could be so much better, because just like the base pistols that don't have a slide that actually reciprocates, the toggle mechanism does not move when you fire it. It's not a big deal to most people, but it would be a cool little detail. The biggest problem, though, is that they never actually modeled a magazine for it. The handle for the magazine is there. That little circle on the bottom of the grip. That's the handle for the magazine where you're supposed to pull it out. But not only does Scout not retract a magazine from it, they never even modeled a magazine in the grip at all. It kind of just looks like a toy, but as far as toy looking guns go, I don't know, there's something about it. It's the style, I guess. It's very, very stylized. I suppose the only other problem, now that I think about it, is accessibility. The only way to get this weapon is from Poker Night at the Inventory 1. Both poker games these days are unavailable on Steam. The only way to get them is by obtaining a code, something that I did a long time ago. And you know, the codes are getting less and less common, so sooner or later, we're gonna run out, and then no one will be able to get one of these things. So if you want one, you better get it soon before it becomes too expensive. And even then, you're gonna have to learn poker. So yeah, good weapon, very good.
I still can't do it.
Well, what do you know? I guess you really don't want to shoot me after all.
Oop, safety was on.
Okay, the Capper. This is my personal most favorite reskin in the entire game, and it deserves that title too, because it's kind of the opposite of the Luger morph, in the sense that a lot of effort was put into making this thing actually feel different than the other pistols, even though it isn't different at all. Because, well, I mean, as you can tell, it's not a pistol, it's a ray gun, which shoots lasers for some reason, but no matter. The design is very much based off of, you know, the classic ray gun stuff like from Futurama and Flash Gordon, stuff like that. And the colors are very bright and nice to look at all times. Firing sound is very satisfying and sounds like you are firing some sort of ray or laser or something like that. And it actually has custom tracers, which basically shouts to everyone in the server, hey, I got a Capper. I got one of the most valuable reskins in the game. And I actually unboxed this thing. So that was pretty freaking rare. Somewhat balances out the lack of unusuals in my inventory. And the particles look even better if you're crit charged. But I think the absolute best part about this weapon is something that if it didn't have this, it would have been practically ruined, at least in my opinion. And it's the fact that Valve actually went through the effort to give it a magazine. But it's not just a magazine, it's a battery pack. A completely new model that fits very snugly and nicely into the gun. And no matter what reanimation pack you get, if you get animation packs, that battery will slide in perfectly fine, just like other magazines. That one little detail adds so much to the weapon, makes it feel so legit and like it's an actual TF2 weapon, not just lame reskin, you know. But that's not all. The lasers also turn enemies to ash, just like the Phlogistinator does. You don't get that sort of effect from other scout weapons. I guess the Batsaber evaporates enemies, but I don't know, that always looked kind of silly to me, especially since the entire effect is just taken from Half-Life. But I suppose all these extra touches are necessary because this thing is way more valuable than other reskins, similar to the Batsaber. It's the second most valuable reskin in Scout's arsenal. Good luck getting your hands on it, but if you do get your hands on it, it's a lot of fun. I like it a lot. Zap, zap, zap. Nope, still too expensive. The final reskin. And this one is not up to preference at all. Like, not in the slightest bit, because this thing pretty much isn't a reskin. It's a straight upgrade. A straight upgrade from the Mad Milk. It doesn't say that it is, but it definitely is, because of two main things. So what this is a jar of presumably milk, which contains a bread monster from the expiration date short. It has the exact same stats as Mad Milk except for two additional effects, one of which is intentional and the other unintentional. Just like the Mad Milk, wherever you throw it, it will splash milk all over the place, coating nearby enemies. But unlike the Mad Milk, if you throw it directly at someone, that person will have the bread monster stuck to their face, gnawing on it. This is actually very useful because if you hit someone directly with Mad Milk or Mutated Milk, the duration of the effect is longer than if they just got splashed with it. So if you see the bread on their face, you know that you have extra time to take advantage of the effect. So that is an immediate upside that the Mad Milk just doesn't have. That's the intentional one. The unintentional upside that this thing has is source physics. See, when you throw this, it actually has the potential to go further than normal Mad Milk, just simply due to how source physics calculates the projectile being thrown through the air. So yeah, non-subjective at all. You just, you get more info of your enemy when you hit them with it, and you can throw it further. It would be kind of a nice item to have, I suppose, but it's way overpriced for what it is. I mean, it's just the same item with a bread monster added to it. The upsides are cool, but it's still too expensive for me to bother actually getting it. The only other thing to mention is that for some reason, if you throw it on an enemy while crit boosted, the bread monster is a lot bigger. And that's about it. Don't know why it does that, but it's kind of neat, I guess. Yeah, Mutated Milk. There you go. Hold on.
Where are the primary weapon reskins, Valve?